This is War Room Moments, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and most relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. War Room Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board. Here's your host, Jason Miller.
Hey, welcome to today's episode of War Room Moments. I have a special guest with me today, Jennifer Jas with Words with Jas, LLC, and welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jason.
It's awesome to have you on. I had the great pleasure of spending 3 entire days with Jennifer and the Rogue team in California and got to know her really well. And it was a pleasure to meet you there. You got so much brilliance locked up in that brain when it comes to editing and writing and all these things. And tell the crowd a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what your superpower is.
Okay. Well, I am a runner, a nature lover, and a reader. And because I love reading, I started a business around that. So my business doesn't just define me, but I have so many interests, but my workday is surrounded by words and books. So I am a nonfiction editor. I love helping people with their words. And it's funny that you use the word brilliant, because that's one of the words I love to use in relation to my clients. So I help people pull out the brilliance in their own words.
Nice. Yeah, that's very cool. And we often think about books and you don't realize all the lift that goes into creating a good book, right?
Right.
A really good book, not just a piece of trash that somebody threw together in a week and threw out in the marketplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like creating something that's truly meaningful and means something to you and means something to an audience. And that's where the editing piece comes in. That's what you do. And I'm really curious to hear, because it's kind of like you're the unspoken hero behind it all, right? And or the unseen hero behind it all that helps put all of it together. And I'd like to really hear more about that.
An editor really is a behind the scenes, but an integral part of a book. So people can publish a book and do it, slap fast, get it done. You can go online and you can find something that says, write your book in 48 hours, and that's just not going to be a quality book. If the book is important to you, or any type of writing that you do is important to you and your name's on it, you're going to want to do it right. And part of what's involved in doing it right is hiring the people to help you with each step. Writing a book and publishing a book is a very involved process. I'm an editor. That's one piece of the process. Of course, there's also possibly a book coach, designer, cover designer, the PR marketing piece. There's lots of other steps in the book publishing process, but I'm involved with the editing piece. So I have a little stat for you here. 82% of people want to write a book, and only 0.8% of people actually write a book. And many of those people don't write a book because they either don't know where to start, or they think their writing isn't any good. They just don't know. They're scared to get feedback on their writing. And that's where an editor can come in. So I want to show people that editing is not a scary process. It doesn't have to be a scary process. I'm a nice person. Other editors are nice people, but we also will tell you hard things if needed to help you improve your writing. So there's different types of editing, but I'll just speak for myself. I want to help an author make sure that their message connects with their audience, make sure their message is clear, make sure it's engaging, that it's accurate. There's not, errors in their publication or their book that will be distracting to readers, because we really want the author to look good, to look brilliant, and for their message to come out loud and clear so that it can, have the impact that they want their message to make.
Yeah. Well, how do you see, what's the future of books? What do you think? With all this technology now that we have in our hands, it's all like right here in our face now, right? With iPads and computers and iPhones, you can take your iPhone and read a whole book. I read my entire new book last night, the first draft, on my iPhone. So,
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, it makes you really step back and think, because I love to hold a real book in my hand still, right? And how do you see that as moving forward in the future, I guess?
I think there will always be a place for print books. So many of us love print books, and the sales are still way up there. So I don't have the current stat. I should get that in and put it out there as a comment along with this video when it comes out. But yeah, print books are still very valid in the marketplace. But the exciting thing about the digital world and books is that there's so much more you can do with your book once it comes out. So you can take that content that was in your book and repurpose it for your blog posts, videos, online trainings, social media posts, podcast topics, speaking engagements, all kinds of digital sources that you can use to promote the same content that's in your book that just, supports your message in so many different ways.
Yeah. Well, and I know we both know several people that help, and they'll take a book and create it into a course, right? So
Right.
It's a lot of that. To me, a book is a really powerful tool, right? And written well can get a lot of good attention, but it's like anything else in life. It's what we do with things, right? So you can write all the books in the world, but if you don't do anything with them, well, that's what you're going to get in return. Nothing, right? Me and Chris had this discussion.
Chris O'Byrne, yep.
Yeah,
a book is not the end. It can be considered as the beginning. It's the beginning of so many other uses for your content, the first step.
Right. Well, in that, what do you see? Are the steps changing in book production? Are they faster, slower? How has technology really affected that whole process? Because obviously we have a lot more technology now. We're not faxing stuff back and forth anymore.
Right. When I first started editing, 20 something years ago, I still liked the paper and the red pen. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can't even imagine how unproductive that was time-wise now with all of the tools we have. So, I mean, just can't even wrap my mind around how many improvements there are now that we're in a digital world with book production. But with online tools, people can improve their own writing much easier with online tools. They're not foolproof, and it doesn't replace a quality editor. If someone's writing is so important to them that their name's going to be on it, they're going to want to hire professionals to help. But you can use online tools to improve what you're putting out there if it's something that you just need to get out there. Of course, spell check, but doesn't catch everything. Grammarly, there's Pro Writing Aid, there's different online tools that people can use to help. And that's been pretty transformative too. People can improve their own writing in those ways. There's an example I like to use from spell check that shows people that it's not going to catch everything. If you say procrastination, you're wanting to say procrastination is my greatest enemy, but you accidentally type procrastination is my greatest enema. Spell check's not going to catch that. Put it in there and try it, and it won't catch it. So yeah, you need an editor.
Yeah. Well, I always spell check for me. It always says I get a lot of no suggestion.
Oh, right.
That's how far I'm off
It says, we don't know what to do with this. Hire an editor.
No idea what you're talking about. Go hire an editor.
Exactly. Yeah, but the exchanging of the files digitally. And, one good thing about the digital world in book publications too, is that it's print on demand. So if a book comes out and someone wants to change something in their manuscript after it's been published, well, you can just fix the file and upload a new file. It's not like people usually have boxes and boxes of their books sitting in their garage anymore. You order the 100 author copies or whatever suits your need, but you can definitely make changes to it and upload a new version. And then people who order it from that point on will get the new version. So that's a huge plus.
Yeah, that is huge, because what if some of the content turned out not to be evergreen like you thought it was going to be, right?
Yep.
And you want to make a simple change to something, or, it's definitely the world of instant gratification capability, no doubt.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad, I guess, but
yeah. And when people put links, websites in their books, or, other company names, and things change, links change.
Right.
Those need to be updated.
Yeah, I guess probably even 10 years ago, you probably couldn't do all that.
Right.
Huh?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's actually pretty crazy how far technology has brought us along in almost every single fashion over the last 10 years. It really is pretty amazing, for sure. But, well, anyway, so, part of my mission is to give guidance to our younger generation of business owner. And one thing I would love if you would share with them, hopefully they're listening, and that is, what's a business struggle that you've went through in your business career? And, how did you pivot to either deal with that situation or overcome it, better yet, that struggle?
I started my business 4 years ago as a full-time business. I had been editing on the side while I was in the corporate world before that. So this is a little background, but I've been editing for over 20 years, but I was doing it on nights and weekends. And then I decided to make the leap away from my corporate job and do what I loved and really help authors full-time start my business. So the early years of my business were a scramble to take on as much as I could to learn the craft of editing and to make a living at it. So I said yes to almost everything that came my way. Some really terrible, I can look back now and say terrible projects were extremely low pay, weren't in my wheelhouse at all, wasn't interested in, people who didn't, people who were difficult to work with, and projects that weren't ideal for me. So now I would say my best advice for people who've started their own business is to find what you love and focus on that service, what you're doing for the key area of your focus, and let the rest go, and put all your effort into what you really love doing. So now for editing, I've decided that I focus on nonfiction. I used to take on fiction, and I did a romance once. I did reviews for products. Just things that were not what I focus on now. Now it's nonfiction, books or materials with a positive message, cause publishing, something that has the potential to change the world in a positive way. And so when work comes to me, I can quickly have a conversation with the author or whoever referred them to me and determine, is this something that I want to work on? And if it is, I'll take it on. If it's not, I will happily refer them to other people. So I have a large network of other editors, and I can find someone who's a good match for that work. But it feeds my soul to be able to work on what I do best and to let the rest go. So no longer do I say yes to everything.
Yeah. So the takeaway, don't always say yes to everything.
Exactly. That's it.
Well, yeah. And it's common, I would say, right?
Yeah.
especially when you're first starting out and you're like, I just got to hustle and make money and do all these things. But if you'd actually probably slow the train down a little bit. And like one of the things I always say is it's almost more work to try too hard.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's true.
If you just don't try so hard, focus on, serving the people you want to serve instead of serving everybody. Right. Then, it will come. And I'm not saying run by the, if you build it, they will come model. That's not what I'm saying, because that never works out very well either. But, if you're pinpointing and targeting who you want to work with, you'll surround yourself with the right people, and the right people will come to you for sure.
And people just starting out may not know who the right people are at that point. My business shifted over time into, focusing on who I wanted to serve. So that scramble may still be necessary in the beginning. Yeah. And the experience that it gave me to, edit 50 books in a year, I sacrificed some were short, but I sacrificed some, time for myself and time for family during the first year. But the experience was also invaluable. So that's just something that a new business owner can't keep up, but some level of scramble may be necessary in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think no matter what, you're always going to have some of that, right? That's just part of it. But, but like all things, we are the controllers of our destiny. So,
yes.
And we do decide what we do and do not do. So
exactly.
Some of that is just being present in the moment with the things that we are doing, and do those things really, really well.
Yes.
So
people come up to me frequently, at least a couple of times a week, whether it's at a local event here in my town or online, or people I know or friends of clients or daughters and sons of clients. And they want to know how they can become an editor, because it's very appealing to people who love books to have a job where they read all day.
Yeah.
Right. I got to say, I do love that part of the job. I have specific advice that I share with those people, and I'm happy to meet with people and talk about editing and how they might get into this field and how to get started and how to start getting experience as an editor. So that's something else that I'm happy to help share with people.
Yeah. I mean, if you're passionate about writing books, you're probably pretty passionate about reading books too.
Yes.
I would think so. Well, thanks for sharing those words of wisdom there for sure. And to kind of close things out, I like to ask this question. If you could pick someone that could be here today with us on this podcast, dead, alive, friend, family, mentor, whoever that would be, that you could ask one burning question, who would that be and what would the question be?
I would pick Bessie Smith. She was the Empress of the Blues. So she was the blues singer in the 1920s and 1930s. And I just adore her and her music. She went through so many struggles at that time as a woman and as an African-American and as a singer, going into spaces where women and people before her just hadn't gone. But she was known as such a bold, vibrant, confident person. So I would ask her, when facing roadblocks, what do you tell yourself to just move forward with hope and confidence? I would just love to hear her answer. And then maybe she'd sing a little song if she was on the podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
But sometimes, I look up to her and think, how can I move forward with hope and confidence and boldness like Bessie Smith?
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes things we go through in our life, we forget about hope and confidence sometimes.
Right.
We try to treat things too mechanically. That's for sure. Hope and confidence still exist.
Exactly.
For sure. Well, hey, Jennifer, how do people get a hold of you to work with you? I know you're very boutique and the projects that you do take on, but how do people get a hold of you that might want to find out if they're a fit for you?
Okay. My business is Words with Jas. That's my last name, Jas. And so that's the website, wordswithjas.com. I'm also a part of roguepublishingpartners.com. So you can find me on that site as well. And I have a free consultation on my website, so people can set up a time to meet with me and we can just chat about books or the next project or editing.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Jennifer, thank you for taking the time to be here. I really do appreciate it. I know, like everybody else, you're busy and you got lots of things to do to serve your customers. So I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
It's always fun to talk to you, Jason. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, hey, thank you for attending today's War Room Moment. And remember, dream it, believe it, and then go achieve it. It's your podcast host, Jason Miller, signing off.
Thanks for listening to War Room Moments with your host, Jason Miller. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.